Hello and welcome to the overview of audio, CM243. This is a second year module that's optional and worth 10 credits. In this overview I'll have a look at the course structure, the course content, how the module will be delivered this year, and have a look at the types and forms of assignments. We'll move on to location recording, where we look at using the Zoom recorder that can get us out into the field recording with various types of microphones, sometimes boom, sometimes lapel mics, and always considering whether we're gathering sound for special effects or recording for interview or drama and film. From then on, we'll start extending and developing our mixes. We'll focus initially on some music technology software, and we'll look at things like mapping out a mix, creating depth and clarity. We look at using sound effects, both for real audio and for virtual instruments. We look how we can put together MIDI and electronic music sound source with voice and with loops and other sound sources we may record. This focus on sound design and producing our own soundtracks is basically linear in fashion. After week 5, we'll start looking at other forms of audio. We'll learn about synthesis, where we'll be able to make our own sounds from scratch out of other sounds by morphing, tweaking, time stretching and turning sounds inside out. The type of thing when you want to get bespoke sounds that you can't actually record yourself, but you need to make them out of some other sound. We'll then have a look at other forms of audio. Audio towards gaming, audio towards VR, and audio towards 360 videos. We look at something called ambisonics, which instead of just concentrating on the left and right speakers, that is the headphones, we will look at multi-speaker arrays and audio that can track head movements for VR and 360 video, so that the sound will pan and be placed in the appropriate place for a full 360 wraparound sound. Along with this, we'll pick up some extra tools, something called sound particles we'll be using. This is equivalent to a 3D design program that you might see for visuals, but in our case we'll be using it for sound, to position sounds and also to make multiple sounds. It's a great sound design tool that out of one or two simple sources we can create thousands, hundreds, and spatialize them around the place. So moving from a typical linear 2D sort of sound into 3D sounds, ambisonics and wraparound sounds. This module stands on its own, obviously. It's an interesting module, a rewarding module to take part in, that you get a lot of direction in, and you can actually make your own in a lot of ways. But it also feeds in directly into many of the third year projects. So if you're thinking of doing film, branching narrative, game design, app design, this sort of module really sets you up well to be that specialist in a group. It also means you'll have that extra expertise that nothing should be beyond you after this module. You should be able to record any source and produce, mix, change, tweak that sound to get any results you want out of it. It's a future looking module, so while we do cover traditional linear media, we also look forward to non-linear media, virtual media, and sort of 360 video and that, and see where sound is going in the next sort of 5 years or so. The assignments have 3 assignment points. There's the challenges, which are worth 20%, which I talked about briefly. There's going to be the makers presentations worth 30% and the final project worth 50%. All the challenges will be put up on a forum on Loop, and you'll be able to listen to other people, they'll be able to listen to yours. You'll choose 4 of these and submit them as part of your grade. It's worth 20%, so each one's worth 5% each. The makers presentation. This will be an interesting presentation. So it will be groups, and the groups will be between 2 and 3. This is worth 30% of your grade. The idea is you're going to pick a hero, someone you think is marvelous, someone you'd love to emulate in some way, or you'd love to find out more about how they actually do what they do. They need to be a sound or music person, and it could be a game sound designer, it could be a film composer, it could be a DJ you like, it could be a musician you like, it could be anywhere in that whole range. With this, we'll set up a way of researching their background, and you'll need to produce something in that style. So after breaking down their style and how they do things, you'll then replicate a piece. It'll be about 10 to 12 minutes in length. But again, this isn't all media you've created. You are asked to make about 90 seconds of original media. So after you've introduced your area, the topic of interest, the key maker, the person you're going to look at, you situate them amongst other people who have similar styles or similar roles elsewhere. You note what's different about them. What's their hallmarks? What makes them stand out from the other people who do something similar, whether they're a DJ or a sound designer for music or games? What's the difference about this person? You're going to bring us through the process of how you did this. The final assignment is going to be quite open. It's worth 50%, and it'll be either something based around audio narrative, in other words, something that doesn't rely on pictures or graphics or extra text, that will stand on its own. It could be something to do with sound and image. It won't be a typical video sound project, but it will have images you will use, and you'll either work with them to bring the story out of them or work in counterpoint with them, whichever you feel works best. Or you could design some type of sound installation or non-linear sound piece. So you could propose a design for a game, or propose an installation piece that might be sensor based or might be just speakers in a room that play around a certain theme. And we look at how we work those up. So if you have any questions about the detail, feel free to email me between now and the time of registration, and I'll answer as best I can.